Welcome back to Mystery Movies. The film starts with Shuri really buckling down in her lab, as T'Challa is kicking the bucket from a strange sickness, and she is expecting to track down a fix. When she finds a potential arrangement, she is met by Ramonda, who tells her that her sibling has passed on. The country of Wakanda holds a burial service parade for their cherished lord. Each resident is wearing white, and a composition of T'Challa has been painted on the wall. T'Challa's coffin is brought out by Shuri and Ramonda until a boat shows up to take him up. Shuri sobs one final time over her sibling's coffin as the country plays out the Wakandan salute. After a year, Ramonda appears at the unified countries. The U.S. Secretary of State condemns Wakanda for neglecting to satisfy their guarantee to become engaged with worldwide undertakings. The French SOS likewise guarantees that the Wakandans are storing vibranium to fabricate weapons of mass obliteration. Ramonda answers that they are as yet lamenting T'Challa's demise and know about what might occur if vibranium fell under the control of pariahs. The prior night, hired fighters attempting to get vibranium penetrated an effort office in Mali. However, they were experienced by Dora Milaje heroes drove by Okoye, and every one of whom immediately crippled them. The Dora Milaje then marches the caught hired fighters before the unified countries, where Okoye compels them to stoop. Before they exit, Ramonda cautions them that any further endeavors like this will be met with an unforgiving reaction. In the Atlantic Sea, a CIA bunch drove by Dr. Graham works with a vibranium identifying gadget. Two jumpers go submerged and find that their mining drill has been destroyed. Not long before they are abducted and killed by unidentified attackers. Presently, a while later, a clan of blue-cleaned individuals known as Talikans arises and goes after the boat, killing everybody ready. Dr. Graham and her partner attempt to escape in a helicopter. However, Talokan pioneer NAMOR snatches the helicopter and throws it into the ocean. Ramonda and Okoye got back to Wakanda, where Rwanda finds Shuri growing new innovation. Shuri rejects her mom's idea that she continue to deal with her fake heart-formed spice to resuscitate the Dark Puma, since she considers the Dark Jaguar to be a social artifact and just made the spice to save T'Challa. Ramonda then, at that point, drives Shuri to the water, trying to consume their stylized clothes to end the mourning time frame and start commending T'Challa's life. Shuri is enraged at the world for her siblings' demise. Minutes after the fact, they are experienced by NAMOR, who illuminates Ramonda and Shuri that he was disappointed with T'Challa's judgment to open Wakanda to the remainder of the world, since it presented his realm to aggressors, as Talokans additionally have vibranium. NAMOR orders them to find and bring the researchers who made the vibranium distinguishing machine to him, or, more than likely, he will go after Wakanda. He additionally tells them not to inform anybody regarding his reality. Ramonda allots Okoye to track down the researcher, yet certain he joins her in spite of her mom's protests. She and Okoye travel to Virginia to examine Everett Ross concerning the researcher. Incredibly, Ross uncovers that the researcher is a MIT teen named Riri Williams. Shuri goes into Riri's apartment and illuminates her that she should go with them, as well as discovering that her vibranium distinguishing machine was simply a school project that the CIA obtained. Riri doesn't think the criticalness until Okoye shows up from her restroom and powers Riri to go with them. Riri takes Shuri and Okoye to her carport to deal with her activities. Not long after, FBI specialists appear at the carport, driving the women to act rapidly and escape. Riri gets her own iron protection suit that permits her to fly. While Shuri and Okoye attempt to escape, a robot seeks after them, yet Riri can shoot it down before she begins running out of oxygen. The robot then, at that point, crashes across many cop vehicles, letting Shuri and Okoye to continue in their excursion. Tragically, they are halted when the Talikans wall them in on a scaffold and toss a water unstable at them and thumping Shuri out. Riri likewise crashes upon the scene and the Talikans attempt to catch her, yet Okoye engages fighting with them, obviously killing 3 officers prior to standing up to the general. Atuma. He attempts to kill her with her own lance until she stuns it free, and the other 3 Delokans begin rising unharmed. When Okoye attempts to continue to battle, she is crushed off the scaffold. Shuri recovers cognizance and tells the Talikans to take her and Riri with them. The following day, Ross goes to the crime location on the scaffold, where he is met by Contessa Valentina de Fontaine, who is currently the overseer of the CIA and Ross X. Ross finds Shuri's Kamoyo dots and takes them. Okoye gets back to Wakanda before the board to request that Rwanda lead a gathering submerged to find Shuri. In any case, Rwanda denies Okoye of her position as Broad and her situation as Dora Milaje for her inability to protect Shuri. Ramonda visits Shuri's lab and educates her simulated intelligence Agrio to find Shuri's dabs. She arrives at Ross, who addresses her secretly despite Val's good faith. He illuminates Ramonda that the CIA professes to accept Wakanda is at fault for the mining transport assault. However, Ramonda can't uncover a lot about NAMOR's contribution. Ramonda goes to Haiti, where she finds Nakia has been working at a school since the blip. while she and Ramonda are really glad to meet one another. Ramonda sees that Nikia was absent at T'Challa's memorial service. Nikia tells Ramonda that she can't bear its prospect being an amazing finish. Despite the fact that Ramonda tells her that demise is never the end for Wakandans. She demands Nakia's help with safeguarding Shuri. Nikia goes to the Yucatan landmass to talk with a neighborhood town lady who has experienced Namor and identify Eshi's legend as Kukulkan, or the padded snake god. Down in Talokan, Shuri has been given social clothes to dress prior to going to meet with Namor. He starts to tell her his origin story. In 1571 his mom was important for a town tainted with smallpox following the appearance of Spanish conquerors for salvation. Individuals have gone to the god check. They found a blue material underneath the water that they ingested to fix their infirmities. In any case, it changed their skin blue and constrained them submerged on the grounds that they could never again inhale air. Namor was brought into the world with wings on his lower legs and the ability to inhale both ashore and submerged, making him extraordinary among his friends. His mom passed on shattered from missing her life on a superficial level. Also, when he came to cover her he found the conquerors burglarizing and subjugating the locals. Namor and the Tillikans went after, with one cleric alluding to Namor as Unneos in love, a youngster without adoration, which is where his name comes from in light of the fact that he has no affection for the surface world. He takes Shuri forward and shows her his realm, a prosperous and flourishing country like Wakanda, and he asks Shuri to help with safeguarding their realms from the remainder of the world. Nakia sets out on her main goal to find Shuri and Riri. Meanwhile, Ramonda meets with Namor after speaking with Ross, who informs her that the CIA is looking into taking action against Wakanda in connection with the mining ship attack. When Ramonda tells Namor to accept responsibility, he warns her against retaliating against the Wakandans if they threaten Talokan's exposure. Nakia makes her way underwater and counteracts Namor's cousin Namora before she may attempt to kill Shuri. She flees with Shuri and Riri, but Namor discovers the warrior as she dies and interprets it as an attack on Wakanda, leading his warriors to strike back. Nakia and Okoye reunite in the city, but they soon notice the area flooding before knowing they are under attack. The Talikans start water bombing the city, flooding it and destroying buildings. M'Baku leads his Jabari warriors into battle, while Shuri uses her technology to fight back. Namor arrives at the palace and heavily water bombs, it sinking Ramonda and Riri. Namor orders Shuri to enter them in the attack on the surface world, where Wakanda will be wiped out completely. Ramonda successfully drags Riri to the surface, but they are both unconscious. The Dora Milaje are able to resurrect Riri, but Ramonda has died. After the attack of Talikans, a funeral is held for Ramonda. M'Baku tries to console Shuri and offer advice, as T'Challa has requested, but she is grieving the loss of her entire family. Meanwhile, Val has Ross apprehended after discovering he was secretly communicating with Ramonda. While the rest of Wakanda prepares for Namor's return, Shuri completes her Midnight Angel suits for Okoye and another Dora Milaje warrior, Annika, while Riri continues to work on her own iron suit. Shuri discovers that the bracelet Namor gave her contains a material used by the Talikans to live underwater, which she successfully combines with T'Challa's DNA to create an artificial heart-shaped herb. Shuri ingests the herb with Nakia and Okoye and enters the ancestral plane, hoping to see Ramonda for guidance. Instead, she is confronted by an unwelcome presence, Killmonger. He reveals that she is seeing him because she is motivated by her desire for vengeance against Namor for her mother's death and her rage over her brother's death, and that she is exactly like him. Killmonger also claims that T'Challa was too noble and would have spared Namor the same way he spared Zemo after his father was killed. When Shuri awakens, she is not able to tell Nakia that she has seen Killmonger and feels abandoned by her mother and brother. She becomes frustrated and punches a statue before realizing she has gained the powers. She realizes that it is now her responsibility to lead the nation in battle, so she goes in search of her own mask, as the tribes debate their next move. A ship flies overhead, and Shuri appears for the first time in her new Black Panther costume. M'Baku declares proudly that the Black Panther is still alive. Shuri then delivers a speech to everyone about what they must do next. With Riri, she devises a strategy for luring Namor to a dry area in order to weaken him and defeat him. To lure the tokens to them, the Wakandans board a ship and send out a signal from another vibranium detecting machine. The Delicans tried to board the ship as the Dora Milaje and Jabari warriors fight back during their showdown. Riri appears in her new Iron Heart armor suit, followed by Okoye and Annika in their Midnight Angel suits. Riri hits Namor with a blast, and Shuri captures him in her ship to begin evaporating the water on his skin. Nomura attacks Riri, while Okoye fights Atuma again. Riri sends Nomura into the sea, while Okoye throws Atuma overboard. Namor uses his spear to try to break the ship, but Shuri battles him with her suit. Shuri attempts to fly the ship toward the desert, but Namor breaks it down and destroys it, causing them to crash. Shuri and Namor fight on, with Namor still strong enough to beat Shuri and impale her. Remembering on Killmonger's words, Shuri is able to escape and recover herself before heading back to fighting Namor. She fires enough heat to Namor with her ship's exhaust to severely weaken him. She picks up his spear and prepares to deliver the killing blow until she sees Ramonda speak to her and tells her to show him who she truly is. Shuri commands Namor to yield so that neither of their people suffers as a result of their vengeance, and Namor agrees. He surrenders and is returned to the Pelicans to end their fight and return back home in the aftermath of the battle. Shuri sends Riri back to Boston but informs her she must leave her suit there for worry of the US resuming its rivalries with Wakanda. She does present Riri with her father's car, which has been repaired. Back into Loken, Namor tells Nomura that they needed to ally with Wakanda because they had no other allies to protect them and that this will work in their favor. Meanwhile, Okoye sets out to free Ross from captivity. Shuri travels to Haiti to meet Nakia on a beach because she has one thing she wants to do. She sits by a campfire, burning her ceremonial garbs. As she reminisces about T'Challa and finally mourns his death. In the post-credits, Nakia appears with a young boy named Tucson, who is her and T'Challa's son and thus Shuri's nephew. Nakia affirms that Ramonda did meet him before her death and he has been living peacefully there ever since. Tucson reveals to Shuri his Wakanda name is T'Challa. She sits and smiles as she realizes her brother's legacy lives on. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notification, and leave a like, to help the channel grow fast. Thank you for watching.